Every time it seems like Chris Brown might finally move beyond the controversies of his past, something new surfaces to stir things up again. He's been making an effort to show people that he's changed, and some fans have been seeing that side of him. But just when things seem to be looking up, Warner Bros. Released a highly controversial documentary about his history, and it certainly didn't portray him in a flattering light. Now, the word going around is that Warner Bros. Might be trying to sabotage Chris's reputation. And based on how things unfolded, it's not hard to see why some people believe that. Chris, however, isn't backing down. He's filed a major lawsuit against Warner Bros., claiming they're involved in a deliberate effort to damage his image, and he's calling it a full-blown conspiracy. Let's break it down. Usually, when a major company like Warner Bros. Produces a documentary on a celebrity, it's either to highlight their achievements or explore serious controversies. So it came as a surprise when they announced a film titled Chris Brown, A History of Violence. The documentary revisits past allegations against Chris, including serious claims that had previously been dismissed in court. Chris wasn't about to let that slide. He responded with a lawsuit, accusing the studio of spreading false and misleading information, especially by including a woman whose allegations had already been thrown out in legal proceedings. According to the suit, Warner Bros. Allegedly knew her claims were discredited but used them anyway to attract attention and make a profit. Warner Bros., for their part, denied any wrongdoing. They argue that the information in the documentary is based on widely available public records and that Chris's legal history, including his conviction related to the 2009 incident with Rihanna, is already well known. So they say it's difficult to prove that this documentary did any new damage to his reputation. This whole situation is extremely messy. But Warner Bros. Does raise a point. Chris's legal and personal troubles have long been in the public eye. The most notable being the infamous 2009 altercation with Rihanna. In interviews, Rihanna shared that the incident began after a confrontation over infidelity. She said, "I caught him in a lie and he wouldn't tell the truth. I couldn't let it go and things escalated. It became violent and it was terrible. I was hurt, bleeding, and swollen." She also described their relationship as toxic and obsessive. Some people argue that this happened a long time ago and that Chris has changed. But others feel that he hasn't truly shown growth, especially since he often reacts defensively when the topic comes up. One example is when fans criticized Chloe Bailey for collaborating with him. Chris went on social media and posted a long emotional response, but instead of showing remorse or maturity, it came across as aggressive and combative. And Rihanna wasn't the only woman to speak out. In 2017, Chris's ex-girlfriend Karrueche Tran was granted a restraining order after alleging that he physically abused her and made threats. She claimed he once punched her in the stomach and pushed her downstairs years earlier, but she stayed silent at the time because he was on probation. After their breakup, she said he continued to harass her and her friends, which led her to finally take legal action. Even his relationship with his mother hasn't been without incident. During a stay in rehab for anger management, reports say that Chris got into an argument with her and threw a rock through her car window after she encouraged him to stay longer in treatment. Other allegations include physical altercations involving members of his entourage. In one case, Charles Butch claimed that he was attacked by several of Chris's friends. Another man, Larry Parker, said he was chased and beaten for over 10 minutes, allegedly with Chris encouraging the attack. Both men filed lawsuits, and their legal team described the incidents as brutal and unacceptable. And then there's Teyana Taylor, someone who was once one of Chris's biggest supporters. She defended him during the fallout of the Rihanna incident, even when it wasn't popular to do so. They had a close friendship, but things reportedly went sour after the 2022 AMA Awards. Chris was scheduled to perform a Michael Jackson tribute, and Teyana was initially involved, but later pulled out. Shortly after, the performance was canceled altogether, and some fans believe Chris unfairly blamed her. Later, there were rumors that Chris confronted Teyana at a birthday party thrown by Usher, and when Usher tried to de-escalate the situation, he and Chris reportedly got into it as well. All of this paints a complicated picture. On one hand, Warner Bros. Did release a documentary that revived past claims, including some that were dismissed in court, which many people feel was unfair. On the other hand, Chris Brown has a long and well-documented history of troubling behavior that continues to spark debate. So what do you think? Was the documentary an intentional attack on Chris's character, or was it a legitimate exploration of his history? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to check out the next video.